Welcome back to another episode of the Casey Campbell Podcast. Casey Campbell with you, of course. We are pleased to be joined once again by the head boys basketball coach at Livonia, Franklin. That, of course, is TJ Hurley. And, of course, they took the KLAA East this year, and they'll be facing off with Canton, of course, who took the KLAA West in boys basketball this year to see who takes the league. How's it going, TJ?
I'm doing well, man. Thanks for having me back on. How are things going for you?
Things are going well, man. Things are going well. It's okay. So I think a lot of people, at the beginning of the season, I think a lot of people were surprised when you guys got off to that hard start. Well, actually, before that, I think I think everyone was always interested to see what kind of team you would have after losing so many before the season. And of course, obviously, I think what caught a lot of people's attention was, the coaches poll had you guys 7th and all that. And then you guys get off to that hot start, and then off we went.
Yeah, man, it was a great start for us. I think I talked about it before with the way the season is like shortened, but with 2 more games, chemistry was a huge part of the beginning of the year, and it gave us a huge advantage going into that like shortened prep time. So we started off real hot, played really well, and we're able to beat some good teams. We played Northfield; they were a little injured, but so we started off really well, playing really consistent. We didn't really get better over the break, though. We had some guys injured, some other vacation type stuff, things you can't really avoid. And we came out really rocky from there. And that was kind of reflective in the first half of the KLAA. We went 3-4 the first half through, started 2-4. So we were really struggling for a minute. But having really good guys around, like really good personalities, good people, you can kind of bounce back and fight through some adversity. So we were able to really put together a hot ending to the season. And now we get that opportunity to play against Canton, like you mentioned. And they got some really excellent players. They got a well-established program. So it'll be really exciting to see what we could do. Great opportunity for everyone to be involved in.
You talk about that first round, because usually teams would get hot in the first round, and then it's like, okay, everyone's playing. You get in the second round. Where do you think, there's always during that stretch, where do you think, there's always that point where the switch comes on? It's and then everyone just, is playing really well. Where was that point in the season, you think, TJ?
So, we lost 2 games in the first half of that KLA season in the last 3 seconds to Wayne and to Stevenson, which hurt. But at one point we had lost to John Glenn at Glenn. And I think after the big message that the whole team kind of bought into is we have to refocus on the little things. So offensively, I think our ball movement really increased, and just our player personnel movement off the ball really increased. And I think we're actually starting to drop backwards in it right now. But our player and ball movement really increased. Our turnovers got cut down because our ability to draw 2 defenders and just kick to the next open guy really started to step up. And we kicked the ball extremely well in our last couple of games. I think our player movement needs to get back to it. But that was a huge turnaround, and we really focused on defense. I can point to a lot of guys who helped us offensively. Eric Hobson became a distributor first and actually started scoring more points because he was opening up more things for himself. But you look at a couple guys who really stepped up defensively the second half through. Robbie Wynn and Adam Alakab really started taking ownership of guarding the best perimeter players on the other team. There's a lot of great guards in our league. Robbie Wynn even had 8 steals against Livonia Stevenson, which was just incredible. So we cut our turnover rate way down, and we really increased our defense, especially on the perimeter. And I think that was the big thing, kind of buying in after that 2-4 start, deciding we all need to be a little more humble and be willing to do the little things before we're going to win more games.
Yeah. And really that second half of the stretch, beating Belleville twice, beating Dearborn twice. Those were teams that a lot of people had, penciled in, and Belleville was predicted to take the entire league. So, but what is really kind of some of the things that, with this team, because that you've kind of noticed at the beginning of the season, because this is a pretty special group you got here, and a lot of people have stepped up especially in the second half of the year.
Yeah, well, you mentioned Dearborn and Belleville, and just they're penciled in because they're that good, they're that well coached. Both teams we had to really play well in the fourth quarter in order to overcome a deficit to win. Even Belleville hitting a buzzer beater, Dearborn really shooting well in the fourth quarter to come back. So there's a reason they're where they're at. But some of the things that we really did is we have a lot of players who are putting in a lot of extra time. I have, a whole gang of players who are texting me every Sunday wanting to get in the gym and, not saying there's no days off, but they're willing to put in work every day. So when you have those guys really putting in that extra sense of work where practice is just standard and you have to do more than practice, those kind of guys, they don't handle losing well. They don't accept losing because they put too much in to just decide the game's over. So we've overcome a couple double digit second half deficits along this way. And you don't go on a winning streak beating these tough teams without a little bit of luck too. But a little bit of luck gives you the opportunity, but our guys have had to cash in on those opportunities late in games, and every one of our players has stepped up throughout. Not only that, we do a lot of opponent scout, and just a side note, our scout team, guys who help us with the scout team, have done an excellent job of going through other teams' plays and giving us a phenomenal look at how we're going to defend things. So those are like players you might not have heard of, like Stalker Kenyon, Cameron Webster, guys who in practice come to it and give us this extra look, this extra step up we need. And so it really helps us throughout, the entire second half of the season.
Yeah. So, I mean, you look at where this program has been. When was the last time you guys took the East?
So I think what I was told is we've never won like a KLAA division. It was before it was KLA, but I'm not sure. The last division championship for boys basketball was 2003, from what I've heard. So that's 20 years. I was in sixth grade then, so it was a good year, 2003. But yeah, so it's a great experience for our guys to be able to do something, make kind of the alumni proud. We've had some alumni come back and say how it's great to see Franklin doing well in the newspaper, online, whatever you're looking at. So it's kind of cool to start getting, I don't want to say following, but to make some of the guys who set the stage before us, make them proud. So it's been an awesome experience to have those guys come back and say they're paying attention.
Yeah. And of course, I know you don't want to look too far into the season, but obviously districts were revealed Sunday. Your thoughts on the draw that you have there?
It's going to be a really tough district. We play the winner of Crestwood and Thurston. Both of those programs are really well coached by Mike Bright and Bates. They do a great job. So we'll have to await the winner of that one. Some conflicting styles there, but we'll have to be prepared either way. On the other side, you have Etzel Ford and Dearborn. The story with Dearborn, we already know. It's at Dearborn. So obviously they're going to be a tough team to beat at their place. So, we got our work cut out for us. We don't mean to look ahead, but it's a nice thing about playing Can. It's not like preparing for Can won't help us prepare for everybody else. So we just got to play some excellent basketball for the next 2 weeks if we want to accomplish anything.
So let's go into this week's game against Canton. You have, I've gotten a chance to see them, or I got a chance to see them earlier in the year. What makes a team like that so tough? Because they definitely have the size, and lately, since they've kind of really made the lineup change a few weeks ago, they've really come alive in the second half.
Yeah, I was going to say they're big. I think the big problem with them is their versatility. Their length can really, really frustrate you from their defensive end. Not only do they have length, but that length is paired with athleticism. It's not like they have some lanky guy who can't run the floor or can't play defense. So that length is going to be really tough, getting to the rim, rotating off your kick out. That's really first name Omar. Sorry, I don't have the last name with me right now, but he's phenomenal. What'd you say?
Omar Suleiman.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I can't remember where he's committed to, but I started reading about him and some of his teammates recently. I want to say he was committed to a Division II school, but I could be completely wrong on that.
Yeah. Also, just kind of talk about just playing someone like that, and to basically try to take this program where it hasn't been in a long time. What's that like for just this team and just what you've built in the past 6 years?
It's really exciting. We got some guys on our teams who they have their own aspirations for their own individual things. And anytime you bring a player into the gym to play against, or a whole team of players to play against that are more renowned, more talented, and even have, things like offers, next level abilities, it helps everyone step up. And, everyone wants to gauge themselves and see where they stack up. Here's your chance to see it. So it's really, really great. And we've had some of those experiences already. We played against some great talented players. We just played against the Mashur brothers at Dearborn, who had a phenomenal game against us, really made us look silly. Wayne has some excellent guards that are going to be around for a little too long, if you ask me. But we've faced a lot of good guards here, so we're going to have to use some of that experience. Playing against Suleiman and a couple of those lengthy, I don't know if you want to call them stretch fours or what in high school basketball, but it's going to be a big battle, a big test for us. And our seniors get a great experience for the last, 1 to hopefully 4 or 5 games to really see where they stack up against some great players. And our younger guys get to see some of the big time talent that is around the state. Just find out it's right next door. So we get to really see where we stack up. And as a program, I feel like some people are saying like we're playing on borrowed time here. Nobody expected us to do it, so we have no pressure. We just got to go out, kind of game out, play our basketball, and we really have nothing to lose. So it's an exciting time for us.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, TJ, thank you so much for coming on and talking with us, and best of luck this week against Canton, and best of luck in district play.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it having me on. Hopefully we see you soon.